Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, brought to you, as always, by the great folks over at Zephyr Epic. You can use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, all one word, Hockey Season. That will get you $5 off your order at ZephyrEpic.com. ZEPHYR Epic. Check them out on all platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, whatever it is. They've got you covered for all of your trading card needs, so be sure to go check them out. If you choose to shop online, be sure to visit ZephyrEpic.com. That is ZEPHYR Epic.com. The promo code is Hockey Season. It'll get you $5 off your order. And if you shop online, you can enjoy free shipping Canada-wide on any order over $50. They also have a retail location in Surrey, so be sure to go check out our friends over at Zephyr Epic. We have some hockey cards, but first, we've got a new look. David Quadrelli, alongside the man who built the place, Chris Faber, here at Canucks Conversation headquarters. But we got a new look on the YouTube show, on the live show, and I put out the article today. I know we got some new listeners, people telling me they're going to check it out. We got some first-time listeners, so let's try to make sure we show everybody what the show's all about.
I'm uncomfortable.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Something about the colors is really throwing me off. We've done a lot of shows with the yellow and the other lasers.
The black skate colors, yeah. And the different intro.
I am uncomfortable. And it's, I like it. It looks good. It actually I really liked it when we saw it for the first time earlier today. But now that the show's live, I'll be honest, I am uncomfortable.
I love it. I think it looks better. I think you'll be comfortable in a day or two after we've had it for. I think you're uncomfortable because the initial shock of it. The music.
I like that. I do
the
like that.
music at the start felt like we had a bit of an arty party going.
Oh, really?
I was gonna hit the arty party button, but I have no clue which button it is on this thing because I have them.
Oh, you got to flip it over.
Oh, why is it flipped though? I don't understand.
I don't know, but I'm not gonna screw anything up. Don't worry about all that stuff here.
But the arty party, it's a good time every time, and it's a good time every time here on the Canucks Conversation podcast. Busy show today. We will be joined by Daily Faceoff's Frank Seravalli. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's my wedding week, so things are hectic. I'll be honest. Things are hectic, and now I'm uncomfortable. Things are hectic, and I'm uncomfortable. This is going to be a great show.
Good start.
Excited about it.
Good start. Yeah,
and,
I got the
MLB playoffs start today too.
Yes, we will revisit that in our Betway.
No, we won't.
Bet of the day. I might.
Maybe. We'll see how it ties into our Betway bet of the day. I'm actually really excited to see how you tie that all together.
Do you have a non-MLB bet in there? During the playoffs. Open your pack.
Barely the start of the playoffs.
We are opening. Yeah, go ahead.
The last of the expensive ones here. These are our we're going to the cheap packs after this, the $4 packs. These are the $30 ones. So you got to get yourself an autograph out of this. Something fun. Zephyr Epic, good folks over there. Head down to the what do you call it? The office, the store, the Zephyr Epic store down there in Surrey. They're good folks. Whisper to them that you Hockey Season, $5 off your order. Good stuff. What do you got? What do you got here, Quads? Get us a Canucks card here.
So we got Mark Stone, Brady Tkachuk, and the credentials.
There you go.
Oh, a numbered card. 206 out of 399 of Mr. Braden Point.
We love a good numbered card. Makes you feel good when you get a numbered card.
They do. And you were telling us this.
Yep.
When you're getting a numbered card, you want to look for the one that has their number.
Either number one.
Braden Point, if we had found 21 out of 399, it would have been more valuable than the one I have.
Number one or their number. That is what I'm told. And what do I got here? Oh, I have a numbered card that's a lot lower number.
Okay.
That's a good one. Rookie arrivals of Jamie Drysdale. He's going to be good one day, man. But this is a 35 out of 49.
Oh.
Debut ticket access with a pink hue on it. Rasmus Kapari.
Oh.
Freaking green screen again.
That's looking nice, though. Oh, yeah.
We talked about this, Aaron.
Technical producer is Aaron Bordado, and it's not his fault that the green screen, your green screen is crappy. That's what the problem is.
Settings that you can change with the damn green screen and not pick up everything?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I don't know any of this stuff. I said it before we started the show. I don't do any of this, making the intro, the graphic. I just show up and talk.
Okay.
There's
a lot of people in the YouTube live chat. Your interaction is, of course, encouraged, folks. A lot of people, some people saying, I hate the colors. I love the colors. Can't make everybody happy. But I'm seeing more people like the new look.
Bring it all. Everybody bring it.
Yeah, more people feedback. Like the new look than those who like the old look.
Sierra Seb loves the new look. What else do we got here?
A lot of people. Some people having problems with the music. I like the music. I like it. It feels like an arty party every day.
Yeah, that's true.
And we probably won't see him tomorrow.
We won't.
But the Abbotsford Canucks. well, the Abbotsford Center is hosting a Vancouver Canucks preseason game. Game number 5 of 6. The second against the Seattle Kraken, the first one at home. Elias Pettersson will not play in that game. That's kind of the breaking news of the day if you hadn't heard already, folks. Elias Pettersson missed yesterday's practice with an illness, missed it again today, and Tocchet said that because they have no morning skate tomorrow, that he is not going to play Pettersson in that game. So big Jack Studnicka, first line, it looks like. First line center.
I did find it interesting that Jack Studnicka was the guy to move up there. That makes me get the vibe that he's the 13th, 14th forward, right? Because they don't want to mess with the other lines. They're just going to throw this guy right in there, especially in a preseason game. It's not like you really need that top line to be, 20 minutes a night, eating up all the tough matchups, all these things. Seattle Kraken, by the way, who they're playing tomorrow at the Abbotsford Center. And we're both going to be there. I'm going to be there for sure. I know that. Like the good folks in Abbotsford, I love going out there. I'm going out there to see them out there.
Maurice.
Who's Maurice?
I thought that was the security guard you like.
Jeez, that's Marcel. He's in the chat right now.
Shoot. Sorry, Marcel.
Mars, I'm coming out there, bud. I'm excited to see you. Chat about our summers.
Maurice. Sorry.
Maurice.
A few people pointing out, we haven't changed the backgrounds yet. I got my Canucks combo here. You've got yours on the green screen. You can change your background anytime. Change your background. You can do it at any time.
I don't know any of this stuff. I tell you, I just show up here. I don't know how this even got here in the first place, this background. I log in here and I see the camera and it's green behind me. Then I get on here and Aaron's got cards going all whack.
Okay.
My Pikachu's like Kansas, everything's all green, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Aaron's dropping instructions in our private chat of how to do it for you.
No, I got to focus on the show here. We got stuff to talk about.
We do. We got a lot of stuff.
I guess this happened over the weekend, right? Vasily Podkolzin getting sent down.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it yet. We kind of talked about it before anybody else.
We spent a lot of the prequel time talking about it, but now that it actually happened, I guess we can spend a couple minutes here before we dive into the rest of the Bubble Boys. Vasily Podkolzin sent down to the AHL. Listen, he's going to get a lot of minutes, a lot of ice time. And Rick Tocchet kind of spoke about it. I think you were with him you were there at the presser on, was it Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday, you were down there and talked to him. Any takeaways from what Tocchet said about Vasily Podkolzin heading down to the AHL? Because he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to get a lot of ice time and a lot of time with the Sedins out there in Abbotsford. That's all I know.
Takeaways. Tocchet loves Podkolzin. We knew that already.
We all do. Everybody loves Podkolzin.
Kind of entertained the idea. I asked him the question about having one role type deal. Having one role that you can just kind of work in, because his deployment here, his deployment in the KHL, like it feels like, and this is with a lot of prospects on the Canucks, I guess, but with Podkolzin especially, it feels like it's been, all right, you got here, you're going to play on the fourth line. Oh, you did well. Okay, here's first line minutes.
Right.
Okay, here's the second line. Okay, you're not doing well. Third, fourth. And he's just jumping all over the lineup, not allowed to kill penalties for whatever reason. This is giving him an opportunity to go in all situations. And the thing that Tocchet really focused on, I think, needs to be our biggest takeaway, is just that it seems like Vasily Podkolzin's kind of ability to anticipate at the NHL level isn't there yet. And he just needs to start playing a lot, I think, to kind of develop that. And look, I'm not saying he has a low hockey IQ, because I don't think that's an accurate way to describe Vasily Podkolzin, but you need to kind of have that step and you need to kind of anticipate better than we've seen Podkolzin to this point right now. That's kind of the takeaway I had, because that's the main thing that Tocchet spoke about, was just that, I love this kid's motor. I love this kid, basically, is what he said. And, he works super hard, all that stuff. We've heard all that about Podkolzin in the past, but now he just needs to kind of put it together. And hey, like, I feel like we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, because last week you laid out exactly what Tocchet laid out the following weekend, was just that he's going to get a lot of regular deployment. He's going to get a ton of regular minutes. He's going to get to work with the development staff. You said all this last week. Like, everybody's playing catch up with Chris Faber.
What can I say? Yeah. First time somebody's had to catch up to me. What I was thinking with Podkolzin was, here's a question. You kind of brought it up. Like, what is Vasily Podkolzin's role in the NHL?
Not a penalty killer, and we think it should be.
No, Quad. What is his role in the NHL?
He doesn't have one, Chris.
Exactly. So you get him down to the AHL. He is going to have a role of being literally, and I said this on the show last week, like head and shoulders above everybody else on this AHL roster. Okay, the way that management is looking at the players, the way the coach is going to look at the players, the way the players are going to look at guys in the room, Podkolzin's at that next level of these guys. He's not a tweener. He's a young player who's developing and already has proven that he can fit and play in the NHL, but he just couldn't find a role on the specific Canucks team. I said it on the show last week. A lot of teams in the NHL would take Vasily Podkolzin on their fourth line right now. Probably some playoff teams too. They'd probably take him and play him on their fourth line for 10 minutes a night and be like, I'm happy with the 10 minutes I'm getting. That's not the ultimate goal for Podkolzin. He needs to develop. When he gets down to the AHL, he's going to be given the opportunity to develop, which is massive. So I like the fact that he's getting down there and getting a role. I know that it's not great for the confidence to go down to the AHL, but I also think it's not great for the confidence when you're riding with JT Miller one day, later in the week you're riding fourth line, all these type of things. I just think it's a little bit of a better situation for him to actually develop down there in the AHL. That's my thoughts on it.
Abbotsford training camp kicks off tomorrow, runs till October 7th, out in Chilliwack. So we obviously won't see any Abbotsford Canucks at the Abbotsford Center tomorrow. That's a Vancouver Canucks preseason games. I think we'll have to get to the lines after. We'll pull those up afterwards. But the Bubble Boys, quickly, let's get to this before Frank hops on.
Let's see the forwards here. Bubble Boys, yep. So we got 3 Bubble Boys on the forward group.
Yeah.
Niels Amon, Dakota Joshua, Jack Studnicka. These are the final guys heading into it. The Bubble Boys. Who do you think's getting the spot here out of these 3? Because I think,
isn't it 2 out of the 3 that get the spot?
No, because we're giving PDG. We're giving Niels Hudson. They got to cut 3 players. I think they're gonna roll with 2 extra defensemen and 1 extra forward. That's the way I see it going.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't.
You think they're going to roll 70?
So sorry, we have 6 names. We have 6 names here: Niels Amon, Dakota Joshua, Jack Studnicka, Christian Wolanin, Guillaume Brisebois, and Noah Juulsen.
Yeah.
How many of those players can they keep?
In the end, they can only keep 2 of them.
2 of them,
depending on what happens with Mikheyev, right? If he goes IR, LTIR, whatever the situation is.
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
I think for opening night, there's only one of these forwards that's going to be on the roster, not even just in the lineup. I mean, in the roster.
I think you have to risk losing Amon or Studnicka on waivers. I mean, not Amon, but Studnicka, you're gonna have to risk losing him on waivers.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he goes down and plays
because I think
top line with Vasily Podkolzin.
Joshua is a player type. I think Joshua would actually get picked up on waivers.
There's some coaches that would like to get their hands in there with Dakota Joshua and get to work, and I think Rick Tochet's the same way. That's why
I think Rick Tochet's one of those coaches,
big time. I think he'd be one of the guys at the top of the list in the NHL wanting to work with a Dakota Joshua who has that much, size and speed and the kind of ability to I thought about it last year a lot watching Dakota Joshua play. He's a pretty good little playmaker for a guy in a fourth line role. Like I think he would be on the upper echelon of fourth line playmakers and guys who understand that offense is going to come when you're playing in a fourth line role if you just get the puck towards net. Go bang around some bodies, get the puck towards the net there. That's what I need to see from Dakota Joshua. And I do agree with you. I think he's going to be the guy who bursts from this bubble as the forward who sticks out. Let's get to the defenseman now.
Can I quickly do something?
Yep. People
are pointing out the hats in the chat.
Yep.
We're going to have this along with many other things at our watch party.
Oh, good stuff.
At Greta Bar in Vancouver, in Vancouver on October 14th.
There you go.
It's a Saturday.
Saturday night, I'm hosting.
Yeah.
I got merch. We got and all the money.
There's so much that comes with your ticket. $2 hot dogs.
Oh, the $2 hot dogs, and we're not money's going to charity too.
Yeah, exactly.
Folks, a kid sport over there, right?
We just want everybody to have a good time. It's going to be a really good time. It's going to
be cool to see people from the chat, people from the comment section. I want to see some of these damn commenters who are in the freaking CA. Show yourself on Saturday night. Let's talk. I need to see some of those folks. All right, let's get to the defenseman here. Yeah, come by Greta. Check it out. We'll be tweeting more stuff about it. I'll get a link into the YouTube.
Yes.
Soon. I don't think we have one in here yet.
It's all over our socials as well. Yeah. Sorry for kind of throwing that at you, Aaron. I know that came out of nowhere.
Aaron's on the ball today.
Aaron is on the ball.
Except for this green screen
stuff.
It's
not his fault. Defenseman, let's go. Defenseman on the bubbles.
Let's go with the defenseman here on the bubble real quick, and then we'll get to Frank. All right, the bubble boys from the defense. We got Christian Wolanin and Guillaume Brisebois. See, this is the graphic I built with some video.
Okay, let's hustle here.
Noah Juulsen. It's Wolanin for me. And I think the second guy, I think it's going to be Guillaume Brisebois because I think Cole McWard's got that spot now for the right shot guy. I think that Brisebois, they're comfortable playing on the right side. Same with Wolanin. So I think Juulsen's going to find himself in the AHL to start the season.
Hard to disagree with you. Let's bring him in. Bring in the man of the hour. The Philly fanatic himself.
Oh.
Mr. Frank Seravalli. Frank, my first question for you. Do they sweep the Marlins? The Phillies, do they sweep the Marlins?
I don't think they do. I think they lose game 2.
Okay.
Aaron Nola has had a penchant for giving up many home runs this season, and feel like that's going to come back to bite him.
Frank, you strike me as a ballpark guy. How many ballparks have you been to?
I actually am a ballpark guy. I don't know if you know this, but I've started a tour with my son. He's 9. Living out here on the East Coast, you can get to so many. So we've crossed in our first 2 summers, we've crossed off 11.
Nice.
11 of 30. So we're grinding.
What's the nicest one you've been to?
I'm a sucker for the old ones. So like I
Don't
love
say Wrigley. Don't say Wrigley.
Oof, I was gonna say Fenway, but Wrigley would be a close second.
That's fair.
I think Fenway's just like
Fenway's
you got to
so
see the
good.
monster in person.
Yeah.
Like that's something I think you have to see in sports. I've only been to one ballpark down at the Safeco or whatever they're calling it now. You know the names. I don't know the names.
Okay, Frank, we're going to talk to you about Bryson Stott's breakout season. How do you... I'm just kidding. We're not going to just talk baseball on this podcast, although that would be my dream.
No.
Yeah.
So wait, I want to chime in on what you guys were saying about the bubble boy defenseman.
Sure.
I found it really interesting, and I don't know if things have changed in the last week, but Rick Tocchet, at least in my conversations with him, he mentioned Noah Juleson twice, and in a really positive way. So I'm wondering if that was some foreshadowing.
When were you out here? Like when?
Last week.
Last Monday.
Okay, because not to rag on Noah Juleson, but he's kind of a guy that we've looked at as not having a very strong camp with pretty high expectations, and having played out the end of last season alongside Quinn Hughes, it kind of looked like he would be one of those guys in this by committee defense that Tocchet's now speaking about, where Juleson would eat up a lot of those minutes. Hasn't had the best preseason to this point, and we haven't seen him with Hughes. Like, it's been Cole McWard, which none of us saw coming. I bet you Tocchet didn't mention Cole McWard much in that interview, did he?
No, and I got to be honest. When I was standing with Faber at practice, I was like, "Who's the McWard guy?" Like, I just was like, "Tell me more." Like, I don't know that much about him,
Yeah.
and I kind of remember seeing him last year, but not really. It was like more or less garbage time for the Canucks, and I was busy watching, the actual playoff teams.
Yeah.
Frank, I wanted to ask about Ian Cole, who I thought was kind of interesting that he was one of the players that you wanted to sit down with when you were here in Vancouver. It's not like a massive name, but looks like a guy who's
listen to him.
I did listen to it, and
Then you know why I
can
wanted
see
to
why.
talk to him.
You needed to
That
fill
guy
your
could
shoes
talk.
with
He could talk a pit bull off a meat wagon.
I think the role that was something that was interesting, and I know that you talked to him a little bit about like Adam Foote, Sergei Gonchar, and those guys being kind of a reason why maybe he wanted to play here, as well as the vision of this team. I'm curious to see, like, with a guy like that who's won so much, how much do you think he could bring to a group here who really hasn't won anything? Like, they have a strong core, they just don't have a track record of winning, really.
I think it's going to be an immeasurable addition, really. I think if you really dive in, and when I'm in the moment interviewing someone, I'm obviously listening because I'm looking for follow-up questions to ask, things like that. But I listened to the whole interview again on the way home on the plane, and I was like, damn, the way he put everything together in terms of the process and how this all needs to happen, it's great for him to say it, but for him to be able to point to his track record and say, yo, I played on 9 consecutive playoff teams, Tampa, Carolina, Colorado, 2 cup wins with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, I've actually done it. That's going to really, I think, be a big thing for this Canucks team, and someone that the coaching leadership is going to lean on for just subtle things here and there to really help push this team in the right direction. And he talked about that idea of, and Rick Tocchet mentioned it too, of how overwhelming and daunting this position that they're in is, knowing for a team that's gotten off to poor starts that you need to get off to a really good one. It's kind of like if you guys are golfers and you're playing a hole and you're like, damn, there's water over there. What's the first thing you do? You hit it in the water. If it's right in front of you and it's all you can think about, it's sometimes so overwhelming. But really, like, I'm not encouraging you because I did the interview and it's my pod, but go listen to Ian Cole on Frankly Speaking and listen to how he breaks down how you need to stack each little marginal win on each other It was like so eloquent for a guy that has no teeth and plays hockey.
It doesn't matter where the water is. Quads is going to slice it 60 yards to the right anyways.
Okay. Frank, most interesting thing from all of those interviews you did, Tocchet, Demko, Cole, most interesting thing you heard?
Probably Rick Tocchet outlining how after his second game behind the Canucks bench, he was out on a Vancouver street corner at 2 a.m, basically like fuming. And I think it spoke to a lot of things. One, that this is a new world for him, that he's been in the NHL. This is his 33rd training camp, and he's never played or worked in Canada aside from his stint last year. I think there's pressure that comes with that, but I also think it speaks to how far this team needs to come. I don't think he was really mad about the actual result. I think he was mad about all of the bad habits, the poor attention to detail, the bad body language that came with this Canucks team last year. And I think the reason why it was so overwhelming to him was because he knows how long the road is to get people to change. And so that's why at the end of last season was so incredibly valuable for him. And I think there was some reminder there, like, hey, relax. You know, he had mentioned that one of the assistant coaches just kind of like pulled him aside and was like, hey, we gotta, you know, you need to calm down. It's day 2 on the job. You can't be losing your mind. And I think that sort of reminder has been perfect, because what he was feeling on day 2 is sort of like what these players are going to be feeling to start this year. He's been there and he gets it.
Just knowing Rick a little bit yourself there, Frank, I think what I'm curious to see is how the Vancouver fan base takes to him. Because I always go back to the day he was hired, and they're not, I guess, like the first game where he played or coached behind the bench, as I'm struggling through the sentence. They announced him in Rogers Arena, half boos, half cheers. And obviously the Bruce Boudreau situation was so tough. But I was driving yesterday coming out of my building. I see Rick Tocchet talking to a guy in a Canucks jersey. Like, I do really think that the city here is going to get behind the person that Rick Tocchet is. And I think he's pretty honest with us in the media as well. Like, I can see this guy being liked almost as much, if not more, than Bruce Boudreau was here, because people here love Bruce. We saw the Bruce There It Is chants, all those things. How quickly do you think Vancouver might fall in love with Rick Tocchet here a little bit, especially if they start to do some winning? By
the way, what was it about Bruce Boudreau that really endeared him?
The start was obviously incredible.
You ever had a teddy bear that you really liked?
I was going to say, aside from like the jolly big guy who's always walking around with a smile on his face, like, it's easy, I guess, but like, the Canucks were also kind of a mess under him.
Mm-hmm. Well, they went on that run at the end, and fans were dying to have something to believe in, Frank. Like, that's what it comes down to, is when Bruce got hired, you also have to remember that it came with the end of the Jim Benning era in Vancouver, right?
And there was, I guess there was some exhale of like, yes, we can turn the page.
And so many people were just dying for the Jim Benning era to end about 5 years before it actually did. So when it actually came to an end, they were also given this guy who has this great track record as an NHL coach in the regular season. And fans were excited about that. They're like, this is going to be the guy. This is going to be the guy to get it done. And the number one fan was Francesco Aquilini, who hired Bruce Boudreau, and fans all shared in that.
So here's how I'd answer your question. Vancouver would be dumb, and I don't say this lightly, to not take to Rick Tocchet. Like, it would be an unbelievable miss. He's everything that you want in a coach. He's hard-nosed. He works. He doesn't bullshit you, and his teams work. I'd have to do the math, but the number of players in NHL history with 1,000 points and 3,000 penalty minutes, like, it's got to be a pretty damn small list. Mm-hmm. He's a legitimately revered figure in Philly, where I'm from, and it kind of always struck me as a miss that the Flyers decided to go in another direction when there was an opening, go with John Tortorella, a guy that, for whatever reason, no market has ever even really liked him. Not that the market and their feelings matter so much, it's results and wins and all that. But geez, like they had a chance to do it, and now Philly's loss is Vancouver's game. Go celebrate him.
Absolutely. And I think so far, like we seem to come here like once a week and be impressed with the honesty. I think is the different thing from Rick Tocchet that we're getting is just like
he's not trying to spin you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I also get like he's a bit old school, but I also think he has he has a pulse on where the line is too far. And I get the vibe he doesn't mistreat people.
He's the ultimate players coach.
Exactly.
Which is interesting to come off of Bruce Boudreau and feel like there is more of a players coach here with Rick Tocchet, who sounds like more of a hard ass, right? Like in the way that he, I guess, speaks or interacts with people. It feels like that. But I'm with you on like he is probably the more ultimate players coach than even Bruce Boudreau was.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's an easy guy to like because you're never going to not know where you stand. And also, he's fair. He wants you to work. Like it's like Ian Clark, and you heard Thatcher Demko in the pod explain what it's like working with him. He's going to grind you, but he's fair and he's really good at his job. So you freaking listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank, you're super good at your job. Board of Governors meeting tomorrow. What's coming tomorrow down the pipe here at the BOG?
I think it's a really quiet, short meeting. First meeting for Michael Andlauer in the Ottawa Senators chair in an official capacity. I think it's just season updates, business projections, things like that. But I will find out more tomorrow. It's just a 3-hour meeting in New York, so not a whole lot there. But we'll see. I'll let you know if I see Francesco.
Okay. We got time? Yeah, we got time. Okay, quickly. Your thoughts. Vasily Podkolzin down to the AHL.
You mentioned Bubble Boys off the top of the show, and I think the Canucks really need one of those younger guys to pop. Podkolzin, Hoglander, obviously Podkolzin isn't there. And I just think if this team is going to take the step forward that I think it's going to, you need all the elements that I've outlined already. Demko to have an unreal year, the defense to be vastly improved off of what it was, and I think it already is that. Pettersson to, climb to yet another level if he can find it. But then you need some juice from somewhere else in your lineup that is an unexpected bump. And maybe Hoglander can be that. Maybe you get it in the form of, I don't know, Beauvillier. Someone somewhere needs to give you some more. And I just think the lack of young player, mojo, it hurts. Like you can't go with 5 years or whatever it feels like of those draft classes not giving you something. And so they need a little bit more of that.
I think with Podkolzin, the situation is so interesting, and we're kind of seeing it play out here with Matvei Michkov, who had to get loaned away from SKA. So you look at the 2 years after getting drafted, Podkolzin's playing 6 minutes a night with SKA, has a very good rookie season. Last year, the step back, didn't perform extremely well under Bruce Boudreau, spent some time in the AHL. At 22 years old, how much is it just about this kid developing again? Like he's almost kind of 18 again, it feels like he didn't get it in the KHL. I mean, that SKA organization, you know this, Frank, they don't play their young players. They don't develop them. It's good for Michkov to actually be loaned out to Sochi and get an opportunity to play. He's got more goals, assists, and shots on net than anybody else on that SKA team right now. So I don't know what they're thinking. But for Podkolzin, is it about just rebuilding development, acting like you're an 18-year-old that just got drafted again? Or does he have enough time in the NHL to make you think, he just needs to change some things? Or is it like a full reset with his AHL demotion?
I think it's closer to a full reset than anything. And look, you're already dealing with players from that 2019 draft class, right? That have had to go through waivers and time's up. 4 years comes at you fast. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now is it from a Canucks perspective for Podkolzin, it's you gotta show us something, or the next time this pops up again, you're going to be one of those guys that people are like, should we claim him or not? Like, that's really what the conversation is going to become really kind of quite quickly.
That's interesting. And he's right. Yeah, you're absolutely
He's
right.
got
Frank.
42 games remaining of NHL games before he needs waivers.
Yeah. And
42, like that's not really much. And this is his last season. So this time next year, within this calendar year, it's shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. The interesting thing is too, he starts both of his seasons here in North America in the NHL instead of the AHL. This year feels like a different path of development, maybe what they should have done at the start, but we'll see how it plays out. One thing I got to ask you about, Frank, I've heard you talk about this recently.
Frank's got to go. Give him this. Ask him for the score
Ask
prediction.
me the last one.
100 points for Connor Bedard. A possibility, Frank. What are you talking about?
Why does that sound crazy to people?
I don't think it's too crazy, actually.
Dude, he's like that good.
It's the preseason.
He's very good.
Impressive.
This is ridiculous. That this is
So our Stephen Ellis today said 90.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going over.
I don't want to like heap on extra praise, but they're saying, oh, well, the Blackhawks stink around him. Like, okay, fine. But Sidney Crosby played on a dreadful Penguins team in 2005-06, and he had 102 points.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, but it was only 102. He barely got there. I'm like, I don't want to heap too much on Connor Bedard, but I think he, in a very short period of time, the list of players that are better than him in the NHL is only going to include Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
And I think he's like not that far off of Sid.
You put Taylor Hall on his wing, Tyler Johnson, like you are giving
Taylor Hall is going to get 75 points this year. And by the way, if you look at Taylor Hall's numbers last year relative to games played, they were actually pretty decent.
All right, Frank, we'll let you go on that. Next week, we'll get your hot take about the Dallas Stars that I think we need to discuss as well. So that's going to be part of our Betway bet.
Plenty to talk about. And I can't wait until we can stop previewing and start talking about the real deal.
You got that right. We are 8 days away. Is that where we're at?
8 days away. Frank, score prediction for tonight. Phillies, Marlins.
Phillies 4-1.
I love it. Frank Seravalli, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Frank. There he is, Frank Seravalli. Going to be our Wednesday regular. We got a couple things.
And next
around.
week.
He's also going to be our most active guest moving around the week, I have a feeling. For you, Frank's the busiest of all of our guests, let's be honest.
Yeah.
What's J-Pat doing right now? He's on the couch, feet up.
Oh, you leave J-Pat alone.
I'm just saying.
J-Pat works hard.
I know. Well, he's already got his work done for the day.
Hustling. And you know what? That is someone, that we can look up to in media. As look, J-Pat's been doing it forever. No offense, Jeff. I'm not saying he's old, but there's a guy who's completely reinvented his coverage.
Oh yeah.
And hey,
Videos.
like he's doing video on Twitter. That is a level of hustle that, hey, like this isn't any disrespect to anybody, but just in any profession, the older you get, the longer you've been doing it, the more you're kind of like, oh, I don't need to hustle anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done my grind. I've done the grind. I'm done. Jeff's still grinding. Jeff's still out there grinding away. I love it. I love to see it.
I love it too. Connor Bedard, if you put the over under at 77 points,
crushing the over.
You think so?
Absolutely.
But I think that the tough part is you have to take into account injury could happen. He's not the biggest body.
I guess.
I mean,
sure.
those legs he's got on him. I don't know about those.
Are we really doing this where we're
I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know how many points he's going to get next year.
I'll tell you what, Quinn Hughes, 3 goals, 4 points in 2 preseason games, one of which was basically against the Edmonton Oilers' real lineup, minus McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yep.
But Quinn Hughes, 3 goals in 2 games. Everybody on Twitter was tagging you, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I'm standing by it.
I'm standing by it as well.
Yeah.
We've got the bet. People heard it on the other episode. 19.5 goals is the bet. I'm taking the over. Faber is taking the under. I am saying Quinn Hughes scores at least 20 goals this season.
Well, Pedersen told me after the game, he said now that the C's on his chest, he's going to start scoring. That's all it took. So maybe you're right. But I will be happy to be wrong. Is that the Don Taylor way to bet? If you lose the bet, at least it's something good for you. It's happy for you. Happy for Quinn Hughes get the points. All right. Speaking of Quinn Hughes, one of the men, probably I want to call him part of the committee. I feel like the committee kind of surrounds Quinn Hughes.
It's Quinn Hughes and his committee.
Yes, Quinn Hughes and his committee. So Rick Tocchet spoke about this after Monday's practice about how he doesn't feel the Canucks will have a regular defense pairs this season. I did clip together 2 different clips here. So we have Rick Tocchet talking about a defense committee and then explaining the committee as well. So why don't we run this audio real quick, and then we'll dive into it on the other side. So hit it, Aaron. Let's hear from Rick Tocchet.
I think we're a committee, and I want them to be used to it. You know, I thought Kohler and Hronek, it was more Kohler. I thought it wasn't so struggle. I didn't like really his first a little bit. And I said to Footy, it's up to you, but Footy wanted to make the change, and I think it settles things down. I don't think that's an issue with our team. I think it's okay to have a committee. I don't think we're going to have true partners the whole year, so might as well get used to play with different guys. That was our thought process. Huggy's going to get his minutes. Hronek's a guy that can get a lot of minutes. And I think the other guys are guys that sporadically can play heavy minutes, but also have other guys that can fill in. So that's why we're built as a committee, and I like that. You know, it's I don't think it's a true, hey, we got, you know, some teams are built different where they got, you know, three guys that play 20 plus. I like ours where we spread it out. Obviously, Huggy's going to get his time, and then Hronek.
I feel like the committee. You and Aaron, your guys' show. I'm just the committee here. Do you buy any of this from Rick Tocchet here, talking about? I guess like you look at the Canucks defense core, and it's almost like you could expect them to go to a committee with Quinn Hughes as their partner, right? Like we saw Filip Hronek a bunch in their one preseason win over the weekend. Quinn Hughes was getting time with Filip Hronek. He had times in the offense's own Tyler Myers. He obviously had Cole McWard early on in the game as well. But I noticed, like, after every penalty kill that was done, after every time the Vancouver Canucks killed off the penalty, and by the way, folks, Canucks are killing off penalties in the preseason. It's good stuff to see against the Oilers and stuff, too. I mean, it's great to see. And when they kill off those penalties, the pairing that's going right out there, Quinn Hughes and Filip Hronek. And I think this can all kind of tie into Quinn Hughes and his minutes in the end, too. Quinn Hughes doesn't need to be at 30 minutes a night with 4 minutes on the penalty kill, right? This is where you're saving him those minutes.
Sure.
Don't get him on the penalty kill, but have him be the first guy out after the penalty kill.
Sure.
And have it be Filip Hronek coming out after Hronek was the first to go out on your penalty kill group. Make him the first pairing. Then he gets a little minute break. Boom. Then you send him out right after the penalty kill.
Could you imagine this team without Filip Hronek? Like, we're talking about how barren the defense group is with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he's legitimate, 2-3 defenseman.
Totally. Yeah.
Imagine this team without him. And hey, like we were
Tyler Myers.
I mean, we wanted them to go in the direction of a rebuild, but imagine if they had gone this direction and they didn't go get Filip Hronek.
What would they done with that first round pick?
Yeah, probably not get a defenseman that's playing right now.
Not right now, but I don't know. I don't want to go down these alternate universes here.
No,
because now I've got a million things running. Like Zach Benson would have been here at training camp, at development camp, and he would have been so fun to watch. I don't want to go down these roads here.
No, let's go down the road of looking at what by committee actually means, because he said it. Tocchet, that is. Hughes is going to get his minutes. Hronek is going to get his minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So while I don't think that it's great that the Canucks are in this situation where they're saying, yeah, I don't think we're going to have regular defense pairs, I also don't think people are reading into it correctly when they say things like, well, this is horrible because this means there's going to be, plenty of people on Quinn Hughes' wing each game. No, I think there's going to be kind of 1 or 2 regular guys each game. I think he's probably going to start the night with Cole McWard, and I think you're going to start to see him get a lot of shifts with Filip Hronek. End of a period. They're going to have 15, 20 minutes, whatever, to go rest up. End of a period. Those final 4 minutes, it's probably Hronek and Hughes together when it's Hughes' shift, right? Like, it's probably those two together. Hronek is going to be this team's second highest minute-eating defenseman.
Right.
That's just a fact. And he's going to spend a lot of that time with Quinn Hughes, even if that's not the pairing that you're seeing. Late in games, late in periods, you're 100% going to see that be the pairing. Like, I have no doubt about it. Like, if you're protecting a lead with, like, I don't know, you're in your final 3 minutes and Hughes realistically plays all 3 minutes, right? It's not going to be Cole McWard locking down a lead with Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
That's what he means by committee. Look, if Ethan Bear was healthy, do we have regular defense pairings and still maybe see Hronek once in a while? Yeah, absolutely. We probably do see regular defense pairings. Absolutely. But that's not the reality. So for this team right now, they're looking at it. I still think they should try Ian Cole with Quinn Hughes. I think that's something that nobody's really talking about. I still think you need to get a look at that. I know you want the lefty righty, but you don't have the righties to make it happen. I don't think. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I'm curious how this by committee thing really shakes out, because I was trying to think of an example of a team that has done this before, and I couldn't really think of one, like where you go look and it's, oh, well, this guy actually doesn't have a regular partner. He kind of plays with everybody. Like even the Canucks, like it was always Hughes with Shen or Bear, and then maybe Myers would play some minutes. But do you call that by committee? I don't. Like I think what Tocchet's outlining is different than that.
I also just I'm not going to buy into the whole by committee thing that much. I don't look at by committee saying 4 minutes with 4 minutes with McWard, 4 minutes with Hronek, 5 minutes here for Tyler Myers. Like, I don't see it that way. I see it still primarily at 5-on-5. You're going to see Quinn Hughes with his partner that he is in the lineup for that night. It's just too much to me to have to rotate that hard and kind of surround things around. Because let's be honest. Let's get to the bare minimum. Like the bare point here is Quinn Hughes doesn't have like a solid NHL partner that you're comfortable with playing in a top pairing role, right? Like that's what the basis of this comes down to. No other NHL team is thinking this Cole McWar kid. That's our top pairing RD, right? Like that is the problem here for the Vancouver Canucks. That is what they're missing. They're trying to band-aid that problem with Filip Hronek minutes, Tyler Myers minutes, maybe even Ian Cole minutes. But you start to pull a left guy off to play with the right, then you're really then that committee is getting out of whack, right? So I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to figure it out. I don't see it being much more than, okay, after every penalty kill, it's like I said earlier, after every penalty kill, you go with Hughes and Hronek, or hey, an offensive zone faceoff, let's get Tyler Myers out there for a shift, right? Defensive zone things, big moment. We're up by 1, and we got 4 minutes left. Okay, let's go Hughes and Hronek here, or hey, let's go Cole and Hronek. We feel comfortable about a defensive pairing. I think that there's definitely some truth to it being a committee. I just don't think it's as much as we should really buy into on it. Of it's gonna be whoever's most fresh is going over the boards, and we're gonna. It's not gonna be like that. I mean, they're going to have a plan for certain situations how to play players. But you brought it up when there's 3 minutes left in the third period and you're down by 1. That's Hronek and Hughes time, right? Like that's not going to be Cole McWard getting those minutes at that point. But I think you could see a lot of opening night faceoffs with Cole McWard on the right side of Quinn Hughes, and it'll be interesting to see how they work it, or if they maybe Christian Wolanin down the road get some time. I wouldn't hate to see Wolanin play with Quinn Hughes a little bit just to see, right? Christian Wolanin, hard for him to look that great playing with Tyler Myers every game.
You're one lefty, and your lefty is Christian Wolanin.
Man, I think after Quinn Hughes, no other defenseman moves the puck better in the offensive zone than Christian Wolanin. Even in the preseason, I know he struggled a little bit.
Do you want that on Quinn Hughes pairing? Don't you want someone who can kind of hold it down at the other end?
Here's the way that I would explain it. Quinn Hughes is very good at skating with the puck in the offensive zone. Wolanin's pretty good at it, but he's like a passer. He's a very much sees open spots on the ice, and he doesn't skate to it. He moves the puck to it. I think that's the difference between Hughes and Wolanin in terms of their skill in the offensive zone with the puck on their stick. I think Wolanin's really good at finding that spot and getting the puck there when Quinn Hughes works his way there. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I still think Ian Cole is the guy.
Yeah, I know, and I get where you're coming from there. And there's obviously going to be chemistry build. Whoever ends up playing with Quinn Hughes, that's going to help no matter what. So if it's Cole McWard getting most of the minutes, I bet he starts to look like a better partner down the road anyways. I just don't know if he's the long-term answer here. I'm with you on the Ian Cole thing. I think that would be interesting to see play out a little bit, and then kind of round out your top 4. I like the idea of Carson Soucy sitting on that second pairing with Filip Hronek. I think that pairing could be exciting together.
Okay.
In a bottom 4 role.
You want to get to Betway?
Yeah, let's do it. So Frank mentioned this on Daily Faceoff Live today, or one of Frank's shows. He's got a million shows. His pick to win the Stanley Cup, and I think he's dropping this next week on Daily Faceoff a little bit as well. You say deep cut, Dallas Stars. So I said, what are the Dallas Stars odds over on Betway? Good folks over there. Plus 1,700. Quads, you put $10 down. What's $10 to you? Nothing with all the money you make. To me, it's, I don't get to have any meat with my dinner tonight.
Popeyes.
Yeah, well, don't get me started on the freaking Popeyes, man. I've had a bad day with those folks. You guys order. No, I'm not going to do it. Because it's not the DoorDash people's fault. The DoorDash folks, they're great. We love the DoorDash folks. And the Crown Royal folks. They're good folks over there too. But I'm not touching that stuff anymore. You see that Lions thing behind you there.
You were going so off the
I
rails.
tell you, I told you, I went to the Lions
I'm watching
game.
you melt down.
No, I'm not going back to the. I'm
You're-
off.
You're like brains overloading right now.
Well, because there's so many things that just, when things piss me off, my brain just like it. I can't control it. Anywho, what's our bet here? The Dallas Stars to win the Stanley Cup. The outright winners, $10 bet. Don't pull that up. It looks like a chicken nugget on the screen. That's what I did. Anyways, I guess nobody gets it. I didn't get my chicken nuggets today from Popeyes, okay, in the DoorDash store. The DoorDash folks, they're great. They gave me a great refund. I blame the Popeyes folks, but I just all I did was want some damn nuggets.
Dipping sauce.
Yeah, how do you do that? They put the dipping sauce in the bag. Both of them. They got the 2 dipping sauces right. They didn't get the chicken right. It's not the DoorDash people's fault. Anyways, our Betway bet of the day. You put $10 down on the Dallas Stars to win the cup. Plus 1,700 is going to return you 180. You can go buy like 400 chicken nuggets for that price, probably.
And you'll get 30 of them.
And there you go. But my question was, so Frank picked the Dallas Stars. They're plus 1,700 to win the cup. Which team with bigger value do you like more than the Dallas Stars to win the Stanley Cup? So let's get these odds. Part 2 of the Betway bet. And do your plus, got to be 19
plus to play. If
Holy
you choose to
moly,
play,
Aaron. I don't
play
know about this one, brother.
responsibly. No, it's good. LA Kings have the exact same odds as the Dallas Stars.
Mhm.
The Pittsburgh Penguins at plus 2,500. Does Sid get another one with Erik Karlsson there?
Hey.
I think that might be some
Sorry,
value.
I'm getting old quads. I can't read the damn thing.
Calgary Flames, Minnesota Wild at 3,000, along with the Ottawa Senators, the Buffalo Sabres, Seattle
There we go.
Kraken. I lost my spot. Aaron just took away what I was reading.
What's this?
We're just going off the rails.
Oh, no.
Okay, the Vancouver Canucks at plus 5,500
There it is. There's
for
your
the
money.
Vancouver Canucks. You want that? That's your big money value
Yeah,
bet.
$5,500.
Also, I'm going to say this to Frank's face too, but didn't he pick the Winnipeg Jets last year?
He did pick the
Yeah,
Winnipeg
okay.
Jets last year.
I don't know about this Dallas Stars bet, Frank. Okay, anyways,
The Ottawa Senators are plus 3,000. The Vancouver Canucks are plus 5,500. Hey,
don't take the.
when I was a kid, my mom and I used to bet on. I would bet on the Vancouver Canucks winning the cup. She would get the rest of the teams. I would bet $5, and if I won, I got $250.
All right.
So my mom was freaking. My allowance weren't coming certain weeks because I could,
Gambled
she
them
knew
away.
what she was doing. So I
Yeah.
guess she knew more before I did because I was a kid and I said, geez, like $5 bet for $250 if they win the cup. This is their year. Little 1998 me watching. Oh, we just got Messier. Like the things are gonna. This is the year, Mom. $5. Come on, I want to double it up and make it 10 for 500. No,
Jeez.
didn't work out well.
Okay, we'll
Hey,
wrap it
I'm
up
out.
there.
We're out in Abbotsford tomorrow.
Yeah.
Real excited to get out there and see Marcel and the crew out there. And you were seeing Maurice, your buddy, out there too.
Yeah, my
You're
buddy
excited
Maurice.
to see him. So I'm excited for that tomorrow. I love the Abbotsford Center. You know,
Yeah.
I do. I'll be posting my Hockey Night in Abbotsford photo.
Wednesday, am I alone tomorrow on the show?
Oh, not quite fully alone.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Okay.
You can say who's coming on the show. I got the graphic.
I
ready.
genuinely don't know.
You do.
Oh, Wyatt Arndt.
There you go.
Wyatt
Arndt's
Arndt
coming on
is
the
going to be
show.
joining me. That one will be from my house because I can't just break into your apartment.
Yes,
to do the
tomorrow
show.
is 1:00. Thursday is also
1 o'clock. We got to move it to 1. We got stuff going on. 1 o'clock Thursday.
Yep.
Who's guesting on that
We
one?
got a meeting with the higher ups. Thursday we got Jeff Patterson's going to join us.
Beautiful.
Friday I have to go get married and stuff. So you are doing the show with Harmon on Friday.
So I found out I'm the closer of your wedding speech.
Yes,
the
you
wedding
are. You're the
speeches.
final.
I'm the closer.
Yep.
How do I get in contact with the DJ? I want Enter Sandman as my entrance music.
You don't get in contact with the DJ. You get in contact with the bride, and the bride has already axed that idea.
What?
Yeah, you're not getting Enter Sandman to go up there.
I'm the closer.
No, you're not. You're just the last guy to give a speech.
I'm the closer.
Like, technically, you're at the bottom of the list because it's like best man. What's the maid of honor? You're literally just a guy at the bottom
I'm
of
the
the list.
closer.
No, there's a bunch of weddings still after that.
I think I'm gonna do the trumpet song that Edwin Diaz has.
Right.
If Enter Sandman's axed, you give me the trumpets. You know that one?
No, but I will be letting the MC know about this. So
I want my closer music.
Yeah. So that'll.
I also want to be referred to as the closer.
No.
Yeah.
The MC is one of my one of my best. He was a baseball guy. He was the best of all of us. He was the one who actually closed out the 4 years of his scholarship. You'll see him. He's a monster.
Well, when I get that mic,
one of the best looking guys you'll see as well.
When I get that mic, I get to refer to myself as the closer. No one can stop me then.
Well, add that to your speech. Yeah, exactly.
Get a couple Coke and Rums in me.
Say we'll have 2 Coke and Rums in you, and you'll be see if you can make it up to the damn stand. All right, must be 19 plus to play. Bet the responsible way.
All right.
Are we still doing that? Are we on Betway?
We're not on Betway anymore. We're done. It's over. We're off the rails. We'll get it back tomorrow.
And shout out again, Saturday live. We got the live event.
Yes, we got the live event on October 14th. Yes. Go get your tickets. You can find all the information on the Canucks Army social channels. You're also going to put a link in the description of the podcast.
Yeah, I'll have that
over at Greta.
Have you been to Greta?
No, and I'm very excited to.
Dude, we're talking pinball games. Yeah. We're talking throwing the football through the holes. We're talking the basketball stuff. I wish every bar was like that and had a bunch of sides. I'm not going to these fancy bars where you got to wear pants when you go into all of them. Like Greta's the type of place you show up in shorts, have a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff.
I forgot to mention the most important thing. $2 hot dogs. Where can you find a $2 hot dog aside from Costco?
Yeah,
nowhere.
Exactly. No, you don't even need a membership to get in.
That was my one bugaboo. That's all I wanted. I said, just give me $2 hot dogs and we'll get the people in. We'll get the people. And by the way, did you hear this in the morning meeting today? Big Nation Network meeting. Canucks Army tickets are selling as hard as the Oilers Nation ones are.
That's beautiful. Let's outsell Oilers Nation. And all
they do, they got 45 people in the office there in Edmonton. And what is it? You and me in this little tiny box.
Yeah.
We don't even have the right logo behind you here, but we got 2 guys here. They got 45. We're selling as many tickets as them. So buy some tickets. It goes to a great cause over there, the kid sport.
Yeah. All right. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. Last groomsman. We'll close it out there, folks.
All right.
For my co-host, Chris Faber. My name is The Closer. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.